Tommy Dream.
Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. Andrew Lee is not with us today. Kyle is here. Kyle, if you listen to the Goots' Disney Pod, which this is a continuation of, Kyle covered Fantasia 2000 and Spider-Man 2 and a bunch of other shit. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me. What's going on, everybody? I'm glad to be doing this. Like you said, Fantasia 2. Oh my God, it was just
Spider-Man
really
2. Oh, you
Spider-Man
did you
2.
did one of the Alien Predator movies. I forget
Yeah,
what
Predator movie. That there was a movie, The Sorcerer's something that was like
the
the
Sorcerer's
sequel.
Apprentice. Yes, because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
consider
yeah,
that the remake of Fantasia.
yeah. So Great American Bash. We're just moving up on the ranks
Right now, you're doing
of
the Great American Bash '88.
yeah.
Before we get into the Great American Bash '88, I got a quick story to tell you, Kyle. Well, I'm gonna tell the audience. So I said I was kind of done with things I needed to do, and I said to Kyle, "Hey, let's record earlier." And he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be home yet." I'm like, "All right." So I put on Impact for background noise while I do stuff around the house. And the first thing I see is Tommy Dreamer begging fat little Scott D'Amore to come out of retirement so they could fight Bully Ray. And I'm like, in 2023, yes, it's 2023. Fuck.
Yeah.
In 2020, this is a segment on your show. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer and Scott D'Amore. That's one of your segments. That's what you're trying to compete with AEW and WWE with. So I put out a tweet like, this is what I saw. This company deserves less than nothing. And you had just DM'd me. And then all of a sudden I get another DM. And I'm like, wait, Kyle's not messaging me. Who the fuck is it? And I look and it's like a thing. And I go to my people I don't follow tab, and it was Tommy Dreamer. All I can see is
Oh.
his last message. He gave it ended with a thumbs up, but I'm not opening it because here's the deal, bro. You are a legend, supposedly. You are a guy. You're an ECW legend. You've worked in WWE. You've worked in ECW. Technically, you were a WWE World Champion if you want to count the ECW belt, right?
Mhm.
And what the fuck are you doing DMing someone who doesn't like Impact on a Thursday night? Like, why are you like doing that? Like, how empty is your life, bro? You know what I mean? Like,
Got a
am I
lot of
right? Am I
time on his
wrong?
hands. He's got a lot of time on his hands.
I know, like,
Let's
dude,
put
why
it
don't you
that way.
spend that time analyzing why this show stinks, Impact stinks, and why this look this week everyone hates WWE. The end of Wrestling, we're going to talk about that in a second before we get a Great American Bash '88. The end of WrestleMania, the end of Raw were pure fucking trash. All right. But let me tell you what doesn't make me want to shut off WWE forever. Tommy Dreamer, Scott D'Amore, and Bubba Ray Dudley. Fucking. And the segment is please, Scott D'Amore, save us. Are you what? Are you out of your that's what you're leading with? That's like fucking WCW having like Kevin Nash beg Gary Hart to save the NWO in 1998. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? Or?
I mean, didn't they have? They literally had a segment on Impact, I can talk about Impact in general in a second, but they had a segment on Impact where Hulk Hogan, his goodbye was Dixie Carter literally clinging to his leg and begging him not to
Mm-hmm.
leave, and that
Well, you
was
can't, but you
written
can't
into
blame
this.
Hogan or Dixie Carter anymore. They're gone.
Yeah, no, I just mean they've done things like that before, and I'm not. That's not a defense, but
Yeah.
it's just like, why are these like positions, these like GMs or whatever they are, in such high regard and impact? The thing I actually like about Impact, and I don't watch it regularly. I'll watch maybe a match if I hear about it or it's
Mm-hmm.
background noise, or the knockouts division is still solid. They do whatever the fuck they want over there, and I kind of respect that. Like they're using the name Santino Marella, which I think they got the rights to
He
because
has the rights.
nobody, yeah, because nobody cared. They had like the demon from Kiss on one week, and they have like
Fandangos. I didn't realize Fandangos.
Fandango's there, and they throw the WWE canon into their TNA storylines, and like it's wild. Tell someone from 2005 what Impact is now, they'd have a heart attack. But I kind of respect that they just do whatever.
Look, I'm all about doing
And some
whatever.
people like it. I mean, I don't watch personally,
I'm all
but
about doing whatever, but I'm just like the fact that Bully Ray is still like one of your top guys, and so is Tommy Dreamer in 2023 is like, bro, like, yeah, do what you want, but like, why would you ever think this? Let me put this on mute. This is gonna like gain you new viewers.
I don't know who's watching the show, honestly.
I mean, every time I put on, I regret it. I'm like, And I used to review it every week. You remember?
I remember they
Sometimes
used
you
to
want
have they used to have a Twitch, and then they did like the YouTube pay. You got to
to.
pay YouTube, which I was never gonna do. But and some people do, and good for them.
Well, I get it
But
on. I have Access TV on my Sling package. So.
no, not even that. They would have they would gain an audience, I would hope, through Twitch. And I was like, why would you get rid of that to go to YouTube when Twitch is like the hottest thing right now? Maybe the finances, I don't know. I
Well,
don't,
maybe Tommy Dreamer's more aware of what I said because he knows that I
maybe
say.
he's like, you're right. This was bad.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe
No, he tweeted a stellar episode of Impact. It's like, bro, who you trying to
stellar.
convince?
I haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna
It was terrible.
judge it. But I'm not a
Um,
Bully Ray fan, and
I'm not a Scott
as it
D'Amore
was,
fan. I
yeah.
think he's a loser. He's a never was. Dude, the saddest thing is when there's a guy who never was and they act like that guy was a thing. Like they do that with Luther and they do that with on AEW and they do that with Scott D'Amore, but they don't do it as bad. Like Luther's not running AEW, okay?
Luther doesn't get any wins, to my knowledge.
That's the way it should be. Is Luther even still employed?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
They have so many people on that roster. I don't know who's what.
Um and I'm really glad that this show has fallen on this week. I'm talking about Great American Bash 88.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see a lot of similarities with this show and Night 2 of WrestleMania. Really quick, before we get into Great American Bash 88, what did you think of what did you think of WrestleMania overall? You watched it on TV. What you think?
Yeah, I'm on night one. Amazing. Could have been one of the best WrestleManias of all time. Might be one of the best WrestleManias of all time for night one. Night two, was going really well until the end, where which is not fair to them, almost to everyone else on the card, because that last match seems like it negated any goodwill from the entire weekend.
It
Which,
did.
in my opinion,
It
that's
did.
how it felt, because
It
everyone,
was it 100% ruined the weekend for
yeah,
everyone in that building.
besides maybe Austin Theory and John Cena, and no disrespect to the women's match and whatever happened with Shane McMahon, like there weren't a lot of misses throughout the whole weekend. Even Stand and Deliver, there weren't a lot of misses from the WWE. And then that ending, which I don't know what they have planned for 1,000 days, but that was it to me. That was when you pulled the trigger, and they didn't do it.
Well, they should have pulled the trigger with Sammy. They didn't because
Yeah,
saving it for Cody.
yeah. I mean, I
Don't
got
pull
that.
the
Yeah.
trigger for Cody. So it's like these were you had two WrestleMania 14 moments
Mm-hmm.
and you just walked right past them. And to me, I don't know what they think they're doing, but
I would throw Drew McIntyre in there. They had me believe, they had the
that
fans
was they had
invested.
three.
Yeah, that's three different times. Like when it finally happens, are people gonna care as
No,
strongly? Because you've done this to us three times already. Like,
no, it would have this the pop, Roman could have lost. I really do feel all three of those moments Roman could have lost the belt, got it back on a SmackDown, and not really lost any steam. And they just won't do it, and I really think they're hurting their baby faces right now.
no, they don't have a baby face you can believe in.
No.
Brock Lesnar lost, and now he's a heel again. Drew McIntyre lost.
And
Not
now
that
he might be
anybody,
going away.
yeah, not that anyone wanted Brock to win it anyway.
But
Cody Rhodes, who's the other one? Sami Zayn. I mean, now he's in the tag division. Kevin Owens. Like, they didn't get Jay White, which I didn't think Jay White was gonna be the guy to come in and win the title anyway.
well, Jay White's got to wrestle Jay Lethal on Rampage for 5 weeks in a row.
Unless they already agreed to a contract with Kenny Omega or something. I don't know who is taking this from him.
If you were like, it's not gonna be Cody, who's gonna beat Roman Reigns? I'm gonna say they're gonna do Austin Theory.
Oh God,
that's what I could see Vince's long-term plan being.
That would be disappointing.
I would prefer Tommy Dreamer.
I would prefer Tommy Dreamer. I thought you were going to say Stone Cold Steve Austin, because the rumors are getting him back for one more match, and I can see that being a Saudi Arabia match.
No,
Stone Cold going over.
I don't think Austin's
doesn't help. Doesn't help anybody.
No,
but
I don't think I don't think Roman's. I don't think Austin and Rock are going to lose to Roman. I think they're like, this is a no-win proposition. No, first of all, if Rock does challenge Roman, unless it's like at SummerSlam, no one's really getting excited. They're all going to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to turn on the match because they want to see someone on the roster step up and beat him already. So I think, I think there's more money in Roman Rock or Roman Austin if Roman doesn't have the belt.
Yeah, I remember that was a conversation from before.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then he kept the belt.
And
And
he
it's
kept
nothing
the belt.
he's nothing bad he's doing. He's just the guy. He's just the champion. Like it was a good match, but then you saw the spear, you're like, he's kicking out. He didn't kick out. Like it really deflated the room. It was like a wet fart in church. It deflated the entire room.
And
And then
speaking
that
of,
momentum carried over on to Monday, which
and then they did it
not
again.
their best. Yeah, I'll just put it that way. Politely, I will say not their best show.
Here's the deal, and I think those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. This finish of this show, the one that we just watched, kind of killed NWA all over the country. It's what ultimately some people say that finish with Lex and Rick, which we'll
Mhm.
talk about when we get to it, led to Jim Crockett having to sell the company to Ted Turner a few months later.
Mm.
And the ending of because you can't keep fucking with the fans. You can't keep telling the fans this is the moment and then doing a bullshit excuse and the bad guy gets away with it. There's only so many of those fans having them and then they go away. Here's the deal
Yeah.
though. WWE was a healthy alternative because back then they had a lot of baby faces fans could believe in, whether it's Hogan, Savage, Warrior. This is summer of '88,
Mhm.
Right now we don't really have that. AEW has no baby faces you can believe in. So just like WWE. So, people are
But you
kind of
don't
like,
like, and I don't want to get on AEW. I like AEW, but the thing that annoys me is that people turn with like the drop of a hat. Like Bryan Danielson was like their top baby face a month ago,
and now he's
fighting MJF. And then he went on to go be with his family. Now he's just a heel for the fuck of it, and you're just like, okay, because his friends are heels, but like he was just
yeah,
beloved.
and it's just like
But
he
when this feud
does,
ends, are the Blackpool Combat Club going to be faces again the next time they fight somebody up? Like it doesn't.
yeah, he doesn't have a clear number one baby face, and I
Yeah,
think that hurts the company.
guess it's
Right
Adam
now both
Page.
companies are terrible at booking baby faces.
I guess it's supposed to be Adam Page. I don't know.
I mean, if it is that they forgot to tell uh,
Adam,
whoever's running the TV show.
yeah.
But that's my thing. Like, I've been watching these NW pay-per-views, and there's so many weird, shitty finishes on every show. And I just think like this was the last straw for people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. If you keep doing this, Bully Ray, I saw Bully Ray, but Dusty would have booked that finish for
Yeah, I
his
saw
son.
him mention that.
And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's why Dusty was fired, had to go to WWE wear polka dots, and Ted Turner had to buy NWA and turn to WCW because he drove people away with that bullshit. And don't be surprised, if they do another year of this Roman shit, I can see people just. Watching it.
Is the Georgia Dome still a thing?
Yeah.
What if Cody Rhodes beats him in the Georgia Dome? Like, is that
They
the
don't have,
same
I mean,
moment?
if they had the Georgia Dome booked for WrestleMania next year, I'd be like,
I
yeah.
mean, not a wrestling, like even a Raw, even a Smack,
They
even a
haven't used the Georgia Dome since their WrestleMania with The Miz.
yeah. I just mean, can remember Goldberg beat Hogan in the Georgia Dome, and I don't know if WWE can sell out a stadium from just a Raw, but
I
or
think if you go like
whatever
in two
Survivor
2 weeks, we're
Series
gonna
or
have Cody versus Roman.
yeah, at the Georgia Dome. Like maybe that could be the moment. I don't know. Because
Hey,
then he's home.
who should get the Georgia Dome? AEW.
I mean, they're getting everything else. Wembley Stadium.
So here's my
Congratulations.
prediction for Wembley Stadium. And AEW fans are going to shit on it, but I'm telling you, this is going to sell at the stadium. And I tweeted this, and there's all these AEW. What could they book that would sell out that stadium? What could they book? And every time I respond with this, everyone just ignores me. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be Goldberg versus Jericho.
I mean, okay, yeah.
Well, here's why I think that. Tony Khan interview went overboard praising Goldberg. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, Goldberg has never wrestled in the UK. He's
Did
never
not
had a
know
match.
that.
What?
Did not know that.
Yeah, he's never had a match. When he was with WWE, they've never had a pay-per-view or Raw that he's had a match
He was
on.
never at like an insurrection or one of those
No,
shows. Wow.
no. He never had a match in the UK ever. WCW never really went to the UK. And when I was at WrestleCon, he had the longest line by far.
Of
He
course,
had
of
the
course.
longest line. So I'm telling you, if you tell people first time, last time you get to see Goldberg wrestle here, people are gonna come out, and that's gonna move a stadium. And I think he has Goldberg.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's Goldberg,
Do you
and I
think do
know
you think it's Goldberg?
everyone's gonna shit on it, but I think that's the right move. And then Jericho and Goldberg have 25 years of storylines to build off of.
Yeah, and Jericho can carry him to a decent match.
Yeah. And that'll be a challenge for Jericho, okay? Because that's what Jericho's been wanting to do for 25 years. He wanted to have a 5-star match with Goldberg, and he said, I can do it. Well, do it now in Wembley Stadium. Have a 5-star match with Goldberg. Let's fucking go. Let's do it.
You heard that they might be doing All Out and All In like a week away from
Yeah,
each
that's why I
other.
also think they have Goldberg because
Yeah,
what I mean, if you're fucking having Bandito take on Jay Lethal in Wembley Stadium, and then next week it's Bandito versus fucking, I don't know, Jeff Jarrett, I can't see that. You know what I mean? Like, you
yeah.
have to have something up your sleeve that
That's
nobody knows about.
that's also $100 in like 2 weeks for fans. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's Goldberg.
Yeah.
You,
Do you don't think it's MJF? You don't think Goldberg squashes MJF, wins the title, or some
I mean,
random
I
shit
would
like
love it.
that,
No, I think it's gonna be him, and I think it's gonna be like,
and
uh,
then loses it a week later at All Out
oh,
or
that would be
whatever?
cool. I think it's gonna be like a nostalgia thing. I think it's gonna be like a nostalgia match for the UK fans.
All right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
No,
what I.
they definitely need to pull out all the stops. Like you can't get Bret Hart, and obviously you can't get the British Bulldog.
Well, you
Um,
could. You could just throw his ashes on his face.
that's not gonna help anyone. But yeah, I mean, I made the joke that FTR is gonna have a match and lose to David Hart Smith with the Bret Bulldog pin because they love Bret Hart
Mm-hmm.
more than anyone I can ever think of.
Yeah, the other match I think they're gonna have it all at the stadium, or maybe they'll have it All Out. I think you're gonna see CM Punk versus the Elite. I also think you have CM Punk back.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the main thing will be Goldberg. I don't think Goldberg's gonna be there. Like, I don't think he's gonna be a presence on AEW TV. I think he's gonna have like 2 or 3 major matches, but the first one will be this, and I think it's if you tell people, I mean, how many more matches does he have realistically? This is the first time and last time you're able to see him wrestle here. Fans of all ages will come out. People want to see that. It's
No,
it's
I don't like the guy, but he's popular. He's a big guy.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you listen to wrestling Twitter and you think no one likes him, and then he has the longest line at WrestleCon, and you're like,
No,
you know what? And that's why I think
and
that
Goldberg they pulled the trigger on. Like I think it might have been you said it. Like imagine like Hogan beating Goldberg on Nitro or something when you were
yeah,
arguing with somebody. Like they pulled the trigger on Goldberg
they
and
pulled the trigger, and
it
I
worked
didn't think it
out.
was the time, but people still talk about it all these years later. It's still like
I
people
remember I
people
remember
love it.
yeah, I remember flipping over and I don't like Goldberg or Hogan and I flipped over
Well,
to
when
watch
mankind
him
beat The
win.
Rock, they sometimes you just got to seize the moment. And that was Hogan's idea, by the way, to lose to Goldberg. He's like, let's just seize the moment.
Well, that's a first.
Yeah, but sometimes when it's right, when it's the right time, it's the right time. And WWE had 2 of those times in the last few months, and I don't know if they're gonna have it again.
I don't know who it could be. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
It's gonna be
Um,
Sheamus.
so let's get into it. The Great American Bash '88. Now there were other Great American Bashes. They were not on pay-per-view. They were more like tours. They were more like house show tours back in the day. This was the first one on pay-per-view. Have you ever seen this one before?
No, that was my first time. Unless it was on like a WCW Up All Night from back in the day when they would
And what
show
did
them.
you what overall what were your thoughts about it?
Overall, I thought it was good. I wasn't as emotionally invested because I was 2 years old. So well, watching it on the show, there's no video packages. There's nothing that's like you just have to know the feuds.
Well, Jr. though, I'll say that these shows were confusing as fuck before Jr. because Jr. does attempt to give you some backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he tried. I think it was only about 5 matches. I think they filled out a lot of time and filled it out well for like 5 matches for like a 2.5 hour show. It was almost like no bullshit. I hate it. It's just a WWE network thing. All the entrances are painfully bad and edited over.
Oh, and the
And that
music is atrocious.
yeah, and that took me out of it a lot. But I think overall, besides the first match and the last match, I had problems with the endings. Um, but
You
overall,
weren't
it
the
was a
only
fun show. Yeah, obviously.
Let's go over the match real quick. The first match we have The Brain Busters. I don't think we're called that yet, but fuck them. Versus Nikita Koloff and Sting. Of course, I'm wearing a Sting shirt, and Sting is still wrestling all these years later. Hey, Sting
Yeah.
versus Goldberg. There you go. That's a match.
Oh my God, no.
What'd you think of this thing? By the way, if you didn't see it, guys, it ends in a time limit draw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a classic WCW move. I've watched so many TV title matches where that shit happened. But that crowd was so hot for Sting and Nikita Koloff. And I never really watched Nikita Koloff growing up, or later in life. But they were so hot. Yeah. They were so, I knew who he was. They were so hot for this match. Like maybe hotter, almost as hot or even hotter than the Luger match. They wanted that team to win so badly. Sting even just dove off the top. Like, I don't really see Sting do dives over the ropes ever, and he did that in the match. Like, and then they do the Scorpion Deathlock. Like, does he tap? And then it turns into the draw. That crowd was so angry at that result, like furious. Like, you should have just given it to them. Like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I honestly, when I watched, I was like, that's why he's making me watch this, because this is like WrestleMania 39.
Well, it comes up on the timeline, but it's so funny because the one thing I do know about this event was even in the aftermath, the old black and white wrestling magazines, who they loved NWA and WCW so much more than WWE. They even were like, this pay-per-view kind of like was the biggest piece of shit. Like the ending was atrocious. And that's the thing. It's like you can do all this great work, but if the finish sucks, that's all people remember.
Yeah.
Like if Undertaker, Shawn Michaels ended with like the Spirit Squad beating the shit out of both of them, nobody would talk about that match now. The one at 25.
Yeah, it'd be the worst match ever.
Now I want to go back in time and send the Spirit Squad. Jim Ross, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Brent's calling audible. But it was very deflating to have that happen. The Sting and I almost called him Magnum TA, Nikita Koloff. Yeah.
So I've been watching Nikita Koloff in this thing, and he is not good at all. He actually makes you appreciate Goldberg more. Because everyone likes to say Goldberg and Nikita were the same thing, and then also this is the first time I didn't realize he grew his hair out, and he does not look like a star with that hair. He looks like he repairs TVs.
No, he didn't look like. He did look like a kind of like a Rick Boogs kind of guy.
Yeah, when he's bald, he looked like a badass, and it was not a good look for him.
That's probably why I didn't recognize him, because I know the name. I know, I'm like, I remember a bald guy.
Yes.
So just like, I guess he had hair at some point.
He just grew out his hair and decided to lose marketability.
Shout out to the Stings. I remember one of my first WCW action figures before they got the Toy Biz ones. Not the Toy Biz ones, the big vibrating ones.
The Galoob ones. These were the Galoob ones.
Yeah, that was the one that I got. I got it as a kid, and it was the Sting. And
he's going like this.
Yeah, he's flexing like
I'm wearing a Sting shirt. I don't know.
Yeah, with the arms. Yeah. And he's got the little rat tail haircut, whatever the haircut is.
Mm-hmm.
Which
yeah, dude, Sting, I don't know, like
he was so popular.
Wanted to go head to head with WWE. I don't know why Sting didn't already have the belt in '88. The kids loved him. He looks like something out of an '80s cartoon. He was the perfect guy to go head to head with Hulk Hogan, but
he was the perfect guy to beat Hulk Hogan, and then
what?
And then he was the perfect guy to beat Hulk Hogan, and we all saw what happened there.
Yeah. I gotta say, there's an alternate timeline where Sting goes to WWE in like '87, and there's no Attitude Era, because I think Sting would have been like, how John Cena was on top for 20 years.
Yeah,
that would have been Sting. It would have been like '80s. He'd still be like he'd be fighting Roman Reigns. It'd be like Sting would have this streak like since WrestleMania 4. It wouldn't be Undertaker.
Yeah, Undertaker wasn't there yet. He wouldn't even have been there.
But I think there's a timeline where Sting is like the biggest star in the world, and Vince gets him young. But he didn't. He got him old, and he threw him up. And he ruined him. And
for a long time. Yeah, he didn't win. Another bad call. How do you not have Sting win It's Triple H win the triple match at WrestleMania 31? How do you have him lose?
Dude, I'm dreading watching. I can't watch that WrestleMania because of that match. Like it ruined the whole WrestleMania.
Oh my God.
Next up, we have everyone's favorite Jim Cornette. And he's out with the Midnight Express, and they take on the Fantastics, who, to me, I always consider these guys like Dollar Store Rock and Roll Express, Buddy Fulton and Tommy Rogers. They had two NWA tag team belts. This is the US Tag Team Championship. Midnight Express wins. What did Jim Cornette's put over the ring? What did you think of the match?
I did not care. Like I watched it, but I was like, I don't have any feelings for any of these people. Not that invested. I kept mixing them apart. They all just kind of look the same. The Jim Cornette being in the cage and straight jacket, that was a cool gimmick. But I was like, I don't care about the Fantastics. I know the Midnight Express. So all right, this is just a match.
Yeah, the Fantastics. I feel like there's a lot of teams that rip off the Rock and Roll Express. The Fabulous Ones. The Fabulous Ones are much better though. Steve Kearns in that one. Skinner.
Hey.
The Fantastics. There's another one that just kind of just seems like a dollar store Rock and Roll Express. I think these were like, because right now in '88 the Rock and Rolls were in AWA. This was really like just budget. It like they just don't have it. These two guys never really went anywhere. They just
Stan
don't
Lane
have it.
was one of them, right?
What?
Stan Lane?
No. The Midnight Express is a great team.
Stan Lane's on the Midnight Express. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, yeah, Bobby Eaton's on the Midnight Express.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Bobby and Sir Earl of Eaton. Shout out to him.
Yeah, Fulton and Tommy Rogers are the
Yeah. No.
And the match was like, I just felt like it killed time. So yeah, I didn't care for it either. Up next, a match I didn't really hear of. I guess like they brought it back when David Arquette showed up.
Yeah.
Tower of Doom match. Now, in this match, we have the Road Warriors, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Jim Ross had a heart on, Ronnie and Jimmy Garvin, and they took on Al Perez, Ivan Koloff, Kevin Sullivan, Mike Rotunda, and the Russian Assassin. They also had two managers with them, Gary Hart and Paul Jones. The way to win this match was you start all 10 guys start at the top in this little fucking cage, almost like a solitary confinement thing or whatever. Then you get to like a middle cage that's like a little bit easier to get around. Then you get to the ring and you have to escape the ring, and Precious has to open the door for you. She has the key. Jimmy Garvin's wife. This is my thing. I was watching this match and I'm like, why don't the heels just let all the good guys escape? Then beat the shit out of the last good guy, and then they all just walk out and win.
Isn't that always the logic with the cage matches?
I don't understand why you would just leave, like you all leave your partner, like. But
it was like when you played the video game, and if you had a tag partner in the cage match, you climbed out first. You're like, ah, shit.
Now, he just stuck in the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, he's gonna get beat up, and then they're gonna climb out together, and I'm screwed.
Yeah, but then the other team winds up winning anyway. Whatchamacallit, but it was the crowd was going fucking nuts for this, bro. They were loving every second of it. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was certainly an interesting spectacle.
Yeah,
but I didn't think it was that great. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was too much going on. I was like, there's 10 people here, and then the second cage, and get to the bottom. I was like, this is a lot. Like especially
Did you see
again,
the referee like
no investment.
The ladder?
Yeah. Don't tell Bully Ray about the ladder,
dude.
But
how did like these other companies, not WWE, how did these wrestlers like? How was there not an Owen Hart incident before Owen Hart?
I mean, everyone's very, very lucky. I'm surprised they even brought a zip line back at WrestleMania 30. Yes, last week. Like
it's probably like Logan Paul agreed, or Logan Paul goes, "I want to do it," and they're like, "We'll just sign this thing that like you can't sue us."
Yeah, because I was like, "Oh, we're doing that again." Okay, I didn't.
You know what? If Logan Paul fell though to his death, I probably would have been like 5 stars. I would have been like, wow, they really did keep it 5 stars.
Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people would care if he fell to his death.
I know. It would be like, it'd be like the show should go on. Let's keep going.
Exactly. I don't want that to happen to him, but the people are not fans, at least in that arena. But yeah, that match was so confusing.
How about when Kevin Sullivan just, because I've seen Precious and she's like basically a regular woman. She's not a wrestler. She's actually Jimmy Garvin's real wife. They're still together. How about when he just started choking the shit out?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
That was
I was like, wait, what is going on with this match right now? And then her and Jimmy Garvin embrace afterward. The crowd goes nuts, like it's Macho and Liz.
Yeah, and I think Jim Ross explains that Kevin Sullivan or someone, one of those, they kidnapped Precious.
Surprise, surprise.
So Jimmy Garvin couldn't go get her in the locker room. He had to climb the cage to get her.
She's right there.
Yeah, it was a lot, and I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure it was a lot of fun watching. I actually wouldn't mind if they did like something like this at WrestleMania or something. I kind of want, well, real quick before we go into the next one, since they're in Philly, I kind of want. This is the thing I thought of tonight, and I funny maybe this Tommy Dreamer text is leading to this. I want like the revenge of ECW to Paul Heyman, and what I mean by that is Shane Douglas or Raven brings in somebody to take out Roman Reigns, not because they don't like Roman Reigns, because they're like, you ruined my life, Paul Heyman. You're still palling around with the champ. I'm gonna bring
Yeah.
someone to destroy him.
Who would that person be?
I don't know, but I was thinking about Creed 3. Do you remember the scene? Did you see Creed 3?
I didn't see Creed 3, but everyone says it's very anime like, and I would like it.
Yeah, you'd actually, yeah. But the first moment is Creed is like going to his car and like Jonathan Majors goes, "You don't remember me, do you?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." And I picture that like Paul Heyman's with the bloodline, and like Just Incredible has like a snow hat on, and he's leaning by. Like, you don't remember me, do you?
Yeah.
Just Incredible, and then Paul Heyman tries to pull him. He goes, "You guys are going to make it out of Philly alive," and then you just keep building that like all these guys that Paul Heyman used are like gathering something to take out the bloodline, and
That
only
would be,
because they're like, you ruined our lives, Paul Heyman,
that would be cool.
and now you're trying to come back to Philly. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Taz would have to do the promo because you
Yeah.
fucking ruined our lives, Paul Heyman.
Shane
My
Douglas. Oh yeah,
son,
Taz. Yeah.
my
Oh, yeah,
son.
bring in Hook. Why not? Hook beats Roman Reigns
Oh
in
my God,
30
Hook.
seconds.
Hook. Or well, my idea would be Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is now like infused with Extreme, and then
He's Shane Douglas's son or something. We make it
no,
up.
he's Raven's son.
He's Raven's son,
He's Raven
exactly.
and Beulah's son.
There you go. We got it. We wrote it down. That's it. Don't look him up. He's just Raven and Beulah's son. Accept it.
Accept it. I don't care. Listen, if Kane can be Undertaker's brother, he's Raven and Beulah's son. He's here for revenge on Paul Heyman. That's my thing. It's like it's not about Roman or the bloodline. It's about Paul
Paul
Heyman
Heyman, yeah.
and the fact that like, you know what would be actually a good match in that vein if you did Rob Van Dam versus Roman in Saudi Arabia. That'd be.
Yeah, I mean, everything still goes sometimes.
But I think that would be like, what if like they did like the revenge of ECW at this?
I feel like they're gonna try and milk something out of ECW. I don't know what it is gonna be, but they're definitely gonna try.
I think some of them are gonna. I think I would not
Maybe
be
like,
surprised. Tommy Dreamer and Paul Heyman go in the Hall of Fame, and
yeah.
Raven. I can't see Shane Douglas going in the Hall of Fame.
No, Shane Douglas ain't going nowhere. Especially,
I can see.
doesn't matter who's in charge, Triple H or Vince.
I
They
can
don't
see
like him.
Tommy Dreamer. Ray. They might do an ECW original. So this two, I think they're gonna put in Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, and Raven. Like
All
together.
in one. Oh yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way they're going in individually.
And maybe even the BWO. Because of what Stevie Richards did all those years in WWE. So you put them all together like a big group, like you did the Four
Yeah,
Horsemen.
they're gonna put ECW in general in the WWE
Yes,
Hall of
but only
Fame.
those guys get to accept it. And maybe they'll throw in like Candido,
Yeah,
Bam Bigelow, like and they'll have like
that would be so guyish to put the whole promotion in the Hall of Fame. So,
yeah, but like they're like, well, but not Shane Douglas.
yeah, the following names.
Yeah, and then Chris Candido goes in,
Yeah,
but
Bam
not
Bigelow
Ian
can go
Rocky,
in, but not yeah, not Balls Mahoney.
and not
R.I.P.
Taz because he's an
Yeah,
AEW. He doesn't get to go in, but
and no
and we put
AEW
the
people
Dudley Boys
allowed.
in already. So
Oh yeah, they are in.
yeah, the Dudley Boys are in, and Rob Van Dam's in. That's why he wouldn't go in.
Yeah, so
So
he wouldn't
I
go
guess you
into
could
it.
have like you can make them two timers. I'm sure Bully Ray would fucking eat that shit up. He'd be.
You get more busted open money being a
I'm a
two-time Hall of
two-time
Famer.
Hall of Famer. But yeah, I think you're gonna put in Paul Heyman, some people from ECW, and I wouldn't be surprised if the main event is like an Extreme Rules match.
That would be interesting.
Of
Or at least one
maybe
of the
night
nights.
one. Maybe
Yeah,
like Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso.
that feud will still be going on.
Just nothing changes. Yeah. Austin Theory versus Sami Zayn. He beats
Yeah,
him and we're
somebody's
told.
gonna get the beat down from me. Someone's gonna get the kendo from the Sandman or DDT from Dreamer, Frog Splash or something. The gore from Rhino.
If you could only put in one ECW guy, let's say next year, who would it be? I have a guy that I would put in.
I mean, I guess Tommy Dreamer, right?
I'd
Like
put in
he's
the Sandman.
and that's the second choice.
Only because his entrance for the Hall of Fame would be for the WrestleMania when the Hall of Fame. I want him to come from the top
Yeah,
of the thing to the stage, drinking beer with Enter Sandman.
you know he doesn't drink it anymore, right? He pours it on other people. He's not out. He doesn't drink alcohol anymore.
Okay, well then you know what, he's out of the line. Son of a bitch. Okay, you're right.
Damn you caring about your health.
Tommy Dreamer's gonna cry for 90 minutes.
I was actually disappointed when I found out he didn't drink anymore. I'm like, good for him. I was like, but that's like your whole thing, I guess.
Well, maybe he could drink like maybe like they'll be sponsored by Monster Energy, and like you know how they have the cinnamon toast crunch
Oh
emoji.
my god,
He can like chug Red Bull, or he can chug
I feel
Sprite.
like that would kill him quicker. Like
That would kill actually.
chugging a bunch of Red
Or
Bull
chugging. He
over
could
the
like maybe we're
alcohol.
sponsored by milk, and he
Yeah,
could
there you go.
he could
Something
chug me. He could chug cinnamon toast crunch.
there we just crunches all on his face.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I would love to see Sandman do a Sandman entrance in film.
Yeah, with the music, please. Not
Yeah.
the
Oh, dude, that would be iconic. Like, or
yeah.
he's like the special guest referee for the main event.
Yeah. And you guys already had y'all got Slayer money and Metallica money. Like, just do it for this guy.
Oh, dude, people would go. I
It
think
would
it would be like a real WrestleMania moment.
it would make me go because I don't really have any intentions on going to Philly. But it would
Well,
make me
I'm
go
going.
if I
I'm
could.
going to produce more comedy shows after the 6.
Nice. Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
I'm going to keep it 5 stars. All right. Speaking of keeping it 5 stars, let's move to the next match: Dusty Rhodes versus Barry Windham. The match ends when Ronnie Garvin turns heel and knocks out Dusty Rhodes. I don't know if they were really friends or not because I never watched the weekly television show, but apparently they were buddies. And Dusty Rhodes lays there like a fat pile of garbage. And Barry Windham
You
pins
had to say
him.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This was my favorite match in the show. I really liked the work here. I thought Barry Windham did a great job. I thought Dusty did a great job. This
Yeah,
was
it
my
was
favorite match. And the screw job finish. I mean, I don't know if Ronnie Garvin and Dusty Rhodes had any matches or anything that came out of this, but hey, at least it's an interesting storyline coming out of it.
yeah, no, I assumed they were friends, and Jim Ross was very upset about it. So
Jim Ross.
they had they had to be some type of friends. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought Dusty was gonna win. Ronnie Garvin comes in, and I was like, "Oh, wait, what? Okay, you were just there with the cage and all your friends." So like, what were you?
What I did like is they tried to explain, like, notice Ronnie Garvin didn't really help out Jimmy in the match. And like they were like, oh, okay. So like if you think about it, like, yeah, he wasn't there really.
Yeah.
So like it's like, oh, they tried to explain why this guy who was just fighting for his life is now bad.
Yeah. Immediately after.
Immediately after.
I don't like my brother, and he just turns heel.
I always hear Scott Hall and Steve Austin talk about how great Barry Windham was. And I never really saw it until this match. He really was good in this match. He looked like Randy Orton or some how people he looked like Randy Orton in this match. He was smooth. He was really good in this match, man.
Yeah, no, he's an underrated guy, and unfortunately, a lot of WWE fans saw him as the Stalker or the new Blackjack or whatever.
The Widowmaker next
dumbass gimmicks they've given him all that stuff. But I remember when I started watching WCW, he was the champ, or like later in the year he was champ. That's when he lost to Ric Flair.
He was like he was like the Universal title champ.
Yeah, whatever. They had a lot of titles.
Yeah,
but my brother and I always laugh because I think he's the first person or only person I've seen lose to the figure 4 by the pin. And I don't think he remembered to get up. It seemed like he forgot to get his shoulders up to tap out. He was like laying in agony, holding his eyes, and the ref goes 1, 2, 3, and it's like, oh shit! Like that's how he lost the title to Ric Flair, because his shoulders were on the mat. I don't think I've seen many people lose the pinfall way to the figure 4.
You know what I realized watching this match is Cody sells like his dad. So what I mean by that is
Cody does everything like
Dusty gets hit and then just lays there dead.
Yeah.
Cody at the end of WrestleMania just laid there dead. And that's significant to me because I was kind of getting annoyed that everyone just kind of gets up after they lose. Like even Charlotte did that. I hated what Charlotte did.
Oh, the smiling and stuff.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, oh well, whatever. Like you two are kind of supposed to be both heels. You're supposed to be like, and it was. I didn't like that at all. But Cody just laid there like a sack of garbage while Roman celebrated, and I didn't like it at the time. But I kind of feel like that was his call. Like, this is how my dad would have done it. This is how my dad would have jobbed at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And then someone threw a chicken in the ring for whatever reason.
Well, Dusty would have got up and ate it, but that's a whole.
You do not like the Dusty Rhodes.
Because he books horrible shows. He's literally like, I've been watching all these shows, and it's like these guys are killing themselves. And all right, now we get to the main event, and this main event is stupid for a lot of reasons. Some reasons you don't even know. But when it starts, it's pretty good. Here's the deal, man. All I've heard my whole entire life: Lex Luger stinks. Lex Luger couldn't keep up with Rick. Lex Luger's this. Like, he's not doing that bad of a job in this match. I thought he was doing pretty good, right? I
He was
mean,
pretty over, yeah.
and
He
he's
doing what he
like,
had to do.
he doesn't look lost in the ring. He's not like, where am I? Like, everyone acts like this guy was the fucking shit. He was doing a good job. He's over. They're having this match, and the crowd's really getting into it at the end. Now they're behind Lex. They really like Lex at the end. They want him to win. And Lex gets a cut. Now, you don't know this, Kyle, because you haven't watched these shows. I have. I started with this Arcade 83. Every fucking NWA show, everyone bleeds. When I mean everyone bleeds, everyone bleeds. Every woman in the crowd has her period. Everybody's cut from the forehead. Abdul the Butcher is licking blood out of Carlos Colon's head on one show.
Oh
The
God.
mats are covered in dry blood. Ric Flair is bleeding. Dusty Rhodes is bleeding. Tully Blanchard's bleeding. Magnum TA is bleeding. Everyone's bleeding. Everywhere. Everywhere. Every single show the NWA has ever done up until this point, every single person is fucking just bleeding buckets. And Lex Luger gets a small little fucking cut on his head. All right? Everyone's doing John Moxley in 2023 for 5 years in this fucking company. Lex Luger gets a little cut on his head. They have some old guy come out. The crowd doesn't see this because, like,
I noticed him.
They probably assume the old guy is like part of the ring crew. Is like, hey, the fucking truck exploded in the back or something. He comes out. Lex Luger drops Ric Flair from the torch rack. Everyone thinks he won. They have the babyface come out. The crowd is going nuts. And then they say, and if you are a fan of this company, which these people are, and I'm not a fan, but just watching the big shows, I know. Well, the athletic commission is disqualified Lex Luger for bleeding. The match is over. Ric Flair won. And if you've been watching this fucking show and watch Dusty Rhodes basically fucking bleed all over his children, you're like, what the fuck? This is the biggest bullshit finish in the world. And you can just see those people flee out of the arena at the end of the show. What did you think of the match? I loved the match until the finish.
I thought the match was good. I'm also the same person who saw Luger, Lex Express. This guy is bad. This guy is terrible. He couldn't work, blah, blah, blah. Like, they made him look like a star that night, whether it was Lex and Flair working together or all Flair. He did it. Until the ending. And the thing that stuck with me is like, oh my God, because I know Lex from the WWF first. This is the first time they did it, and WWE was the second time they did it to this poor man. The fucking Yokozuna thing, they did it to him, and then they did it to him here in '88. I was like, oh my God, what terrible luck Lex Luger has to get these screwy world title finishes twice in his life.
And he never recovered from them, and it's like, and that's my thing. You can't keep screwing these guys over, making them look stupid, and that's what they did to Cody twice.
Yeah, and the blood, like, I've never heard of an ending like that before. I was like,
once they started talking about it,
yeah, I mean, I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I think it was universally disliked. I was like, wait, the cut on the head, like it really, like, I couldn't believe it. I knew he wasn't gonna win because once, like, his music didn't play immediately, and people were coming in the ring, and like the referee and the announcer were talking. I was like, oh, what are they gonna say? And then when they said it was because of the cut on the head, I was like, wow, all right, well, that's different. And Jim Ross was like, only in Maryland. He's buried in Maryland.
Yeah,
he was like,
no one knows that. Like, if they had like Dusty Rhodes announced the beginning of the show in the promo, by the way, we can't bleed. Maryland said no one can bleed, right? Like, he cut a promo to the crowd, so everyone knows no one's gonna bleed in this show. And then he bled. Then I think people would have, but they didn't tell anyone that until the last second. And that's not really a thing. They made it up so they could have Ric Flair win without really winning. And here's the deal, like an ending like that, and I think an ending like WrestleMania and the Raw, those endings, I'm not mad at Ric Flair. I'm not mad at Roman. I'm not mad at Brock. I'm mad at the company.
Yeah.
Because I know... You know that you built it up to a crescendo where Lex or Cody was supposed to win. And then you decided, no, I'm not doing it. After I went to either fucking LA or these people went out to Baltimore, after I sat through a fucking Charlotte Flair match that I didn't like.
You didn't like
After
that
they,
match?
I didn't like that match.
What?
I like the
Wow.
Asuka match a lot more. Sorry.
Okay, I've heard the opposite from everybody else. But
I thought the
I
Asuka.
like both matches.
Well, you're that's because you're a horrible person.
There you go.
Sorry, but I'm just saying, like, these people had to sit through a 90-hour Fantastics match so they could see, like, everyone's getting screwed, but Jimmy Garvin, who literally got screwed by his wife later on in the night,
Good for him.
and it's just like, why are you doing this? Like the people are like, no. And here's the deal: back then, people had an alternative, Vince, right?
Mhm.
And here we really don't. We don't have an alternative, but
You don't think AEW is the alternative?
I mean, yeah, but he's not booking baby faces. What I'm saying is, you
Oh,
can
the
go to
alternative
WWE
baby
and see
face.
Hogan and Macho Man
Yeah.
win. They actually got the job done. They're not Macho Man and Hogan aren't standing there looking like idiots. You know,
Yeah.
Same thing with Ultimate Warrior. They look, and Tony Khan also doesn't know. He books his baby faces like idiots too. It's a common problem. I think Triple H and him have the same problem. That they
Baby
book him.
faces are dumbasses.
Yeah, and when
Yeah,
you make a
that
baby
did
face,
happen. Oh my god. And I don't want to shit on AEW for the sake of it because the show was good. Why would you have MJF, I mean Jungle Boy, trying to attack MJF on his home turf where he's gonna get booed out the building and he loses the sneak attack? Like that made zero sense to me.
yeah, I know he
Like
doesn't know how to book baby faces. He doesn't know what he's doing at the
that
end
was
of the
so
day.
bad. I genuinely thought like if they were going with the MGF being the babyface, the Long Island thing to like to do, have fucking say, yeah. Why would Sammy Guevara cut a babyface promo in a town that fucking hates him? Like, have Sammy Guevara be the guy who does the sneak attack and have him get the heel heat if MJF is the face for the week. Like it didn't make any sense.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, that back in the day, people had an alternative. They went to Vince, and that was that. Here's the thing I'm learning watching these NWA shows. Everyone thinks, and to a certain extent, it's true. Vince was a cutthroat. He really like screwed all these guys over. He drove them out of business with these ruthless business tactics, and that's true. But the other reason these people went under and he stuck around is he had common sense and they didn't. There's so many things on these shows where it's like you have to be an idiot to think this is a good idea. And it happens constantly. And it's like all Vince has to do is have Hogan walk out and win, and or Savage walk out and win, and then he's already given a better show. You know?
Yeah, and that's what would happen. Hogan wouldn't lose. Savage wouldn't lose.
Yeah.
Warrior beat the Honky Tonk Man in 30 seconds or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I
And then
think it
you
was
had a
that
guy
year.
2 years later. Well, and now people still talk about people still love the Warrior,
Yeah.
And I guarantee in 20 years, no one's talking about Jungle Boy.
I mean, I hope they are for his sake.
I hope so too, but not the way they're booking him. Imagine if
No.
Warrior ran out there and then got beat the shit out of by Honky Tonk Man. WrestleMania 6 would have been headline Zeus versus Hogan. I'm telling you right now.
You're not wrong. That would have
Yeah,
been terrible. But
I
yeah,
know.
Jungle Boy looked like a loser, and I was like, come on, man.
Mhm. But overall, what do you think of this show? Thumbs up, thumbs down, in the middle?
I mean, I'll say in the middle because the beginning and the ending, those two endings were just like, oh, come
Yeah.
on, man. Like really bad, like not listening to the fans. You can't give the fans everything, but like
I get that. But you already didn't give them what they wanted with
but to have it happen,
Dusty
yeah.
and Sting. You could give them Luger.
Yeah.
Or do a better finish.
Or have it happen twice, like with the Horsemen too. So the whole Horsemen kind of get to be kind of cheaters and scave by. Like it was a big damper on the pay-per-view.
And here's what's even worse: in 2 months, Tully and Arn leave, so there's no more Horsemen.
Yeah, they go to WWF.
They go to WWF, yeah, and then Barry Windham leaves right after that. So it's like all this shit you did led to nothing, and so you're left with a bunch of idiot baby faces. So
Does Sting beat him? I don't even remember. Yeah. I think Sting beats Flair, right? I don't
No,
know.
Ricky
Or
Steamboat beats
Yeah,
Flair.
Steamboat.
And then Flair turns face, and then he turns heel, and then Sting beats him. And then they do the Black Scorpion angle, and I can't wait to sit through that. All right. Kyle, this was fun. Where can people find you on the internet? What's the next one up show? What's it called?
Character Select.
Character Flow.
Character Select comedy. April 29th at the Stand, 6 p.m. Used to it's normally at the first of the month. We're not gonna be at the first of the month for a couple of months for reasons. But we will have April 29th and then May 13th and then June 3rd. So we got a couple locked in already.
Oh, that's
So
great.
yeah, which is it's been a great show. Once again, thank you to you, Ray, for helping me even get there to that point, at least get the ball in motion. And we've been there for a while, almost a year if we
It's
count
going to be a
May.
year because it was
Yeah.
WrestleMania week. You did on actually that was the last episode ever of that podcast, the Goots Cast.
Yeah.
We reviewed NXT, and at the end, I was like, because Stokey was on that episode.
Yeah.
I was like, you should contact the Stand, and we did. We did that Friday.
Yeah.
And they gave you the show that so the Friday after Mania, the SmackDown after Mania, the one where Walter debuted.
Yes, that did happen. Got the Stand show. He built it up.
You're Gunther.
Stokely got let go the week before. It probably helped us sell it out.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to hear everything he had to say, and it worked out. And I'm very happy to be there, and hope it stays there. Let's just keep it that way.
Yeah, no, it's doing good. And we're getting. Where else can people find you on Twitter and everything?
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff is at Keep It 5-Star, FIVESTAR. Always talking about wrestling. I've kind of given up on being comedy Twitter, just do whatever the fuck I want now. Twitter's gonna die anyway, so if I'll talk about wrestling. And
I really only see wrestling fans on my Twitter feed. I don't see fans of anything else anymore.
I have mostly wrestling fans and like political.
I feel like a lot of my
comes in every now and then.
Other thing fans deactivate their accounts. It's just wrestling fans yelling that the worst takes ever, like Bianca's overrated.
Yeah, I saw that one. I don't even see comics really telling jokes on there anymore.
No, I don't know.
Like
it's just wrestling fans and Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if you ever will open it and see.
No, I'm never given that satisfaction. He wrote it into a void.
It's gonna stay locked.
I'll see you at the Hall of Fame, Tommy.
Well, I really want him to be like, "You were right. This was not our best." Or he'll call you out on Busted Open.
Dude, let me write 6 months of episodes. I guarantee you people will be raving about the show.
I mean, they tape 6 months in like an hour anyway.
Yeah, so I'll write it right.
That's unnecessary.
I'll give you a spoiler. We're giving the world title to one of the women again. Sorry.
Deonna Purrazzo or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'll call it.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of wild because I used to work with Busted Open and haven't years, but that they had like a live Busted Open on Impact. Like, Busted Open became a character on the show because Bully and Tommy are feuding, and LaGreca was there. And bless LaGreca, like, you know, do what you got to do. But it was just like, this is a lot. Like, for
to me, it was like weird. Like when Conrad started becoming a character in AEW. Remember?
Yeah.
Like, just kind of like stay apart. Like, I don't want you to be a character on this.
And I don't know, I don't really listen to Busted Open like that anymore, but I don't know if I think they were still on similar shows together, or like doing like their WrestleMania meetups together. So I'm like, why are they feuding and then they're on the same show?
Well, they're still on Zoom calls, so I guess I don't know, I don't watch it, but I'm assuming like, well, since we're for the betterment of the show, we'll be civil and debate AEW or something. I don't know.
So probably, look, make that money, LaGreca. You know, always be a friend of mine. But it was kind of weird thing to see on my TV.
Yeah, no, make that money, and don't DM me, guys. If you like this episode, we have an archive, and hey, you can always listen to our Disney episodes where I've reviewed every pay-per-view from Starrcade '83 to this. Next week, Angela, you'll be back. We're covering SummerSlam '88. Sorry you didn't get that show. The first SummerSlam ever, featuring one of my favorite matches of all time, believe it or not, the best squash match. I think it's the best squash match in wrestling history. Ultimate Warrior versus Honky Tonk Man.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and then the Mega Power. That's how you make a star, and you keep a star. And let me tell you, off that one match, that's why Warrior is still a star to this day, 35 years later.
Yeah,
off that one fucking match.
He's there a hump in the air afterwards when he won.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Mega Powers versus Mega Bucks is the main event. If you enjoy this show, subscribe. Goots' Wrestling Pod. Follow me on TikTok, Ray Goots Comedy. Follow me Instagram and Twitter, Ray Goots. Unless you're Tommy Dreamer, get the fuck out of here. You're
gonna have a whole set on Tommy Dreamer by Philly. You're gonna have a whole thing.
Yeah, listen, bro, fucking write your show, right? You don't see Vince McMahon DMing me like, how dare you and the Laps fans shit on WrestleMania. Like, to me, that's like, You're not proving. You're proving that you don't know what you're doing. Triple H isn't like fucking like chasing down JD from New York.
Not
Be
at
like,
all.
hey, I actually that was a good Raw.
It was so bad.
That would be funny if that's his big announcement.
That would be very funny. I feel like he's gonna be like, remember when Vince was like just coming out for no reason
Mm-hmm.
before he left? I think they're doing the same
What
thing
if he
with
comes
Triple
out to
H.
announce that Endeavor fired him?
That would suck.
He just wanted to say goodbye.
He and Stephanie together with that new $5 million, they could put together a company. And I'm sure the Garganos of the world would leave with him and
Oh,
put
I'm just,
together.
you could
I'm
probably
trust
buy
me.
Impact for two
I
of those
don't
million.
probably. I don't want to see another wrestling. Like I don't have the energy to invest in another pro wrestling company.
I'll
But
say if Triple H and Stephanie bought Impact Wrestling, I would then I'd be all in.
I mean, you'd have to watch it then. I mean, I don't think Tommy Dreamer would be there anymore. But
You don't know. I mean, they could be friends. You know, it's always weird. Like it's funny to think that Terry Taylor and Triple H are like best friends.
he's a
You
he's
don't picture them like hanging out.
he loves wrestling, so I think he loves all these smart wrestling minds. Or if you
Yeah,
think
but he
Terry
wasn't
Taylor's
like
a smart
close with
wrestling
Arn
mind,
Anderson, which I would assume that Triple H would like love a guy like Arn
oh, I
Anderson.
didn't know that. Maybe Triple H, maybe Ric Flair was like, don't talk to Arn or whatever.
We're not talking to Arn anymore. Get him out of here. All right, guys. So that's our episode. Join us next week, and thank you so much for listening. Kyle, thanks for filling in.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, hopefully, Andrew Lee misses like Halloween Havoc '93. You have to sit through that. So,
All right.
all right, guys. We'll talk to you later.